Detroit Lions fans, welcome in. Will's not having a good moment. It's not his finest hour. All right, it's not. It's been a good day for him, I think, but these last few moments before hitting this record button have been a fight, to say the least. Not his best performance. I'll just leave it at that. But stick around, hit that like button, hammer the subscribe button. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Fresh off of a beatdown of the Baltimore Ravens, where we're not going to get into it too deep, but I don't feel like the Lions are getting a lot of respect here, Will. But there's a little bit of news floating around, maybe some roster changes potentially coming up. But how are you feeling after your long travels back from Baltimore?
Steve, the moment we get off of this podcast, I do feel like I should be the one to carry some duties today because you've been carrying us here recently and you stayed up extra late for me yesterday, so I'll take care of that. But the moment that's done, I'm going to sleep is how I feel. We literally came straight into town, went straight to football practice, and now we're doing this and I'm going to bed. So that's how I feel. I feel like absolute shit, but in a good way. We talk about how your voices are raspy after a Lions win because you've been screaming your head off. You got a headache, your head's pounding. I haven't had a whole lot of sleep. And Steve, I still feel great after a Lions victory. So phenomenal is how I feel, Steve.
How long of a drive is it to Baltimore? Out of curiosity, is it about 9 hours?
7 hours, 15 minutes. It wasn't that bad.
Not too bad. And I'm assuming you got zero help driving, and you were just kind of just chugging along all day on the highway all by yourself.
Steve, I will say I drove. It's 7 hours and 15 minutes to get home, and I drove 7 hours and 15 minutes. Correct.
I would assume nothing less. Passenger princess, Emily. Passenger princess. What are we doing here? Help my guy out. At least throw some snacks or some radio.
On the way there.
Do the DJ and do something. 7 hours, 15 minutes straight. That's absolutely unacceptable. Passenger princess, can't have it. Mentioned a little news. I don't know how significant this is. I don't know what it means. We'll dive into some speculation. But the Detroit Lions hosted Quentin Jefferson today for a visit. If you're not. That's from Justin Rogers too. That's where we're getting this information. Quentin Jefferson, traveled dude, defensive lineman, been around the league for a minute, 32 years old. He's collected a lot of jerseys along the way. Originally drafted 2016 by the Seattle Seahawks, played for Buffalo, the Raiders, back to the Seahawks, the Jets, Cleveland, back to Buffalo. Potentially now, maybe he's collecting that Detroit Lions jersey. Will workout doesn't mean he's signed. He's not officially a Detroit Lion yet, but maybe something comes in the works in the midnight hours or early tomorrow morning. So what's your thoughts on Quentin Jefferson?
Steve, I can't steal your thunder. You mentioned something before we got on, and I am intrigued by it. Mekhi Wingo was a scratch in this week's game. Now, I have no issue saying when I don't know things because I don't know much. So getting into this whole situation, I do believe if there's something going on with Mekhi Wingo as far as an injury, then that needed to be put on the injury report. So I'm not sure, but if that's something I'm wrong, could he have got injured in maybe the last practice or pregame or something? I'm thinking it would have been pregame but if he got injured somehow in the last practice or something at home personal, would they have to divulge that on the injury report? Because otherwise, why are we bringing this defensive tackle in? We just had a football game where we played phenomenal up front, Steve. I have zero complaints with how we played up front. So I'm a little bit curious as to why we might be bringing some guys in. But Brad Holmes said we're always looking for talent. So I'm not sure why this happened, Steve. What are your instincts? What are you thinking? Where are you at as far as why this guy is getting a workout?
I think it has to do with Mekhi Wingo because he was a scratch yesterday. And this is our injury report from our game day episode that we did 2 days ago. As you can see, Mekhi Wingo not mentioned on there. So I think something happened between then and there. Not a practice, but he would have to be listed on there because I remember a couple years ago, Joe Burrow was injured. I believe he had a wrist injury, and all of a sudden it popped up. He's playing in a game, and he's got a big-ass wrist brace on his arm, and people were wondering, well, why wasn't this on the injury report? Like, it is required by teams to report those injuries. So I'm thinking something happened very suddenly. No idea what it was. He was inactive. We haven't had any information. I know he had a heavy workload against the Bears when he came back. He played a lot of snaps. I think I saw 37 snaps he played against the Chicago Bears. We're kind of thinking, hey, okay, Wingo's back. Go to week 3, Monday night, yesterday against the Ravens. Wingo's a scratch. Something's going on. Now today we're working out a player. I don't know, just connecting the dots here. I'm not sure if my dots all make sense, but that's what my intuition is telling me is something's going on with Mekhi Wingo. But Quentin Jefferson getting added to a defensive line that played out of their minds yesterday, William. Absolutely out of their minds. Like probably the best performance by a defensive line from the Detroit Lions in very, very recent memory. Like I think everyone was very, very solid. The only player whose name I don't think we talked about really, or maybe the odd man out and he gets a pass because he's a rookie for me was Tyreek Williams. And he still played good, but he just wasn't involved in that sack party. So maybe this Quentin Jefferson stuff is going to weigh a little bit more. We'll have to see what happens, just to work out, just to visit. But I'm just trying to, put a little detective cap on here, Will, and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I got no problem with him getting in the house, man. Veteran, been around the block. I'm sure he's going to be able to bring some veteran leadership to this room. I will say that if he gets signed, I'll dig into him a little bit more. You guys kind of know how I am. I love to watch film, so I really want to focus on Steve. I'm going to be flat out honest. I would rather look at and try to figure out what the heck Coach Shep did to Lamar Jackson than I would to be digging on Mr. Jefferson here. No disrespect towards him, but he's not even a Lion yet. He's a journeyman, not even a Lion yet. If he gets a Honolulu jersey, I'll do some more digging on him. But the first thing that I'm going to do, I'll probably do it a little bit before I go to sleep, but tomorrow I'm going to do some heavy digging on what the heck Coach Shep did to Lamar Jackson, because that game plan was absolute nasty, man. Nasty. And I don't want to watch all 22. I know people have gotten to the comments and mentioned all 22. I love to watch all 22. But what I like to do before I watch all 22 is watch the all 22 film, like the game film, all 22, and come to my own conclusions and then take those conclusions to somebody else's stuff and see what they thought, because sometimes it contaminates your thoughts and you see things that they see. No, I want to see what I see, because Coach Shep is a dog for what he just did, Steve. It was absolute nasty, and I just gotta know. I gotta know.
I'm with you 1000%. That's why I don't watch Detroit Lions podcasts from other people, because the exact perfect words, tainting our thoughts. Like I don't want to accidentally subtly say something that someone else did. My opinions are 100% my own. Now, I won't say that I don't throw on a show here or there if I'm absolutely bored or if I got a little bit of downtime. I like to listen to the morning show of 97 Won the Ticket for John Jansen, someone who's played in the NFL and can relate and kind of connect the pieces a little bit better than most people, myself included. So I do listen to a little bit of what John Jansen has to say, and I take it for what it's worth. But, Will, you know what scares me? You know what absolutely scares me? And it's the fact that this Detroit Lions defensive line played so well, and we don't even have Alim McNeill yet. And I think he's coming very soon. I think he said the other day, I'm about 93 to 95%. If I could play this week, being against the Baltimore Ravens, I probably could. But we're playing it safe. So we're going to be getting Alim McNeill back here. I'm just going to throw out a guess. I think we see him in Cincinnati in a couple weeks. I think we give him one more week off against the Bengals or against the Browns on Sunday. And I think we see Alim McNeill in a limited capacity against the Bengals. That's just a speculation. I have no facts or anything behind that. It's just a Steve Perkins guess. But with this defensive line playing so well and potentially bringing in a vet like Quentin Jefferson and getting Alim back, and I think we finally found our starting defensive end in Al-Qadim Muhammad opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. Maybe that's a good thing for Marcus Davenport to take a lesser role as a rotational piece. Maybe that's something that in weeks 15, 16, 17, that could be a benefit for the Detroit Lions. Like there's a lot of different things that this defensive line's doing. We're doing a whole show on just defensive line. Maybe we'll mention some other people, but that's how damn good they were yesterday. 30 pressures yesterday, William, against Lamar Jackson. 7 of those resulted in sacks. Okay. And there was a couple where Lamar barely got across the line. It was just considered a tackle or a minimum gain. So we could literally be talking about a game against Lamar Jackson where 7 sacks is incredibly impressive. It could have been 9. It could have possibly been 10, because we got some shoestring tackles on him where he just barely made it to the line of scrimmage. So this defensive line, it's playing good. And when I look at the box score from yesterday, it just didn't feel like a one-score game. 38-30, one-score game. it felt more like a 38-10 type of game where we just dominated. But we made some mistakes. We left some meat on the bone. We kind of let Baltimore hang around a little bit, but maybe we get into that today. I don't know. But absolutely thrilled with the performance. Defensive line was Al-Qadim Muhammad got the game ball. I think he could have gave the game ball to about 5 or 6 people on that defense, Will, but he definitely deserved it because I loved his speech. I don't know if you got to see what happened in the locker room or what he said when he got his game ball. Did you happen to catch that?
I didn't. School me.
He said, "Well, I'm used to schooling you, Will. It's easy work, you know. It's just
whatever.
We just call it Tuesday. We don't, nothing special." He said, "I appreciate this game ball. Everyone in this organization, the coach staff, the management staff, the players." He said, "I was on the couch last year. This time last year, I was on the couch. This just shows what happens when you get an opportunity." So I'm pulling for Al Muhammad. I think he's got to be our starting defensive end going forward. I think he's just someone who's way more dependable than Marcus Davenport. And I'll be honest, Will, I think I'm done with the Marcus Davenport experiment after this year. Don't need no more. I'm trying to be nice. Just let's find some other options here.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. I think Detroit Lions are done with it after this year. That's why they signed him to a 1-year deal. 1-year prove-it deal. Listen, I do believe that if he doesn't play, I think that you and I probably make more monies than him this year. Like Brad Holmes, if you know anything about that contract, he structured that contract very well. There's not a lot of money being given out if he's not on the field. Right? That thing is next to nothing. So he did the right thing for those reasons. But all that said, I'm still pulling for him. I'm not out on him yet. I really do feel, obviously, and I know you believe this too because he was your X factor. So if he is healthy, he can make an impact on the football field. So hoping that can be on the back end of the season. I really don't care about him playing on the front half of the season if we're still finding ways to win football games. Listen, you mentioned Muhammad. I'm with you. He's been playing phenomenal football. If he's enough for right now, it'll be nothing but a bonus to get Davenport for a playoff run. So listen, whatever's going on with your arm, your chest, whatever it is, get it dealt with, heal up. Let's get you on the back half of the season for the Super Bowl run. Don't need you to be a world beater. Just need you to be a role player that shows up at the right moment, man. So I'm not done with them yet, Steve. We'll see him at the right time, hopefully.
Yeah, I think if he comes back later in the year, role player. But after this year, I think we can find someone else to be a role player. I don't know. Brad Holmes has probably been criticized more than anything for the lack of attention to the edge position for Aiden Hutchinson's partner. But we just keep making it work. So I even remember someone left a comment. I think it was earlier, maybe last week, and someone said, "Why are you guys so afraid to criticize Brad Holmes?" Or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing it, and it's a good question statement, however you want to word it. But it's not that I'm afraid to criticize Brad Holmes. He's the best GM we've ever had. We were 15-2 last year. How am I going to question a guy with more football knowledge than me, like with a winning record? Now, if we were 5-12, I'd probably do a little bit more ass chewing. But when we're making playoff games and we're winning big games on the road, I just don't find the need to have to criticize our GM. So I know a lot of people make a living on YouTube doing stuff like that, but just not something we have to do. And if that's what you have to do to get your views and get your content, hey, more power to you, I guess. But we try to keep it real here. How can you criticize a GM that's literally taking you to a half of football away from a Super Bowl, has built a complete roster in the NFL, is coming off the best season in Detroit Lions history, and has the Detroit Lions roster again loaded this year, coming back healthy and playing damn good football the last 2 weeks? I can't criticize that, Will.
Yeah. There's things that we've asked questions about, but I agree with you, Steve. What are we going to hammer the dude after he's went 15-2? What is the expectation? So, and I truly believe that he's paving his own way to play defense. And same thing with Coach Shep and the culture, this team. He's going about it a different way than other teams in the NFL. I shouldn't say there has to be, but to find a new way to do things, you gotta be the person willing to go out there and risk falling flat on your face. So is it going to be the right move to have a team with DJ Reader, Roy Lopez, Talik Williams, and Alim McNeill? And I'm not saying that they're all going to be out there at the same time, because I haven't even mentioned Aiden Hutchinson yet. Right. So, but is it right to have all of those big bodies signed and a part of your defensive line? Is that the right move? It yet remains to be seen. But Steve, you mentioned something, and I'm interested to see it. I saw a big boy defensive line with Lacey out there with that same front that I'm talking about with Talik Williams, DJ Reader, and Aiden Hutchinson. I'm interested to see. I also saw down on the goal line with adding Roy Lopez to that mix. I'm interested to see goal line situations. You got them dogs, dude. You got a Roy Lopez. You got a DJ Reader. You got a Lee McNeill. You got a Talik Williams. Do you have Aiden Hutchinson standing up for us, our Sam linebacker spot in a goal line situation? You're telling me all those guys can be at the line of scrimmage on a goal line situation where we're already stuffing Derrick Henry, where we're already finding ways to force fumbles and stop Lamar Jackson at the goal line? It's going to be interesting. Can Alim McNeill play big boy and similar to Levi Onwuzurike? Because Steve, I enjoy Levi Onwuzurike. However,
we know you still got your Levi pajamas you wear every night. I'm pretty sure.
I do not, but I enjoy Alim McNeill a lot more as a football player. So that said, if Levi Onwuzurike can play big boy in, I guarantee you that Alim McNeill can play big boy in. So what does that look like with all those guys out there? And then Alim McNeill is playing big boy in. There's so many different things that I think that a lot of Detroit Lions fans aren't even fathoming that you can do with a defensive line like this. And how do you match up as an offensive line with a defensive line and style that you haven't seen yet? It's going to take some time to adjust to. And then you can come back with Muhammad and then Aiden Hutchinson and get more to a traditional style of playing the game. So I'm interested to see what the Detroit Lions does, as far as when Alim gets back. But Steve, I got to highlight something before we get out of here, because listen, Steve, I hammer this guy. And I feel bad because I give him a hard time because the expectations are so high. But I have to give him credit where credit's due. There was a few times where Jack Campbell met Derrick Henry by himself, and he met that level of physicality with no issue. Zero issue. Zero problems. Down. Now, I'm not going to say he knocked the dude off of his feet and decleated him or nothing like that, but it was Derrick Henry down, no issue. Next play. Jack's not celebrating because it's not a big deal to him. Didn't even look weird. Steve, when Derrick Henry came out for pregame, he looked like a man, a creative football player. Like he was standing next to Keaton Mitchell at one point, or even Justice Hill. They looked like children. It was weird. I'll put it like this: anybody who knows anything about Mark Andrews is freaking huge. Derrick Henry was standing next to Mark Andrews, and it looked like two tight ends standing. Actually, it looked like two D ends standing next to each other, but it looked absolutely crazy. Derrick Henry made everybody look small. When Jack Campbell tackled Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry got up and they were standing next to each other, Derrick Henry did not look physically imposing on Jack Campbell, but the football play is really what it's about. I love Jack Campbell's ability to be able to match that level of physicality and be able to get those guys down. While I do oftentimes give him a hard time about his athleticism and doing some things in the pass game and stuff like that, he played out of his mind yesterday. I haven't got a chance to watch the film, but from what I saw from being at the stadium, I was thoroughly impressed with Jack Campbell. He gave me what I've been asking for and yearning for. So is that something that you saw? Because I was feeling like I saw Jack Campbell, Iowa, Michigan. He's in on every play, Jack Campbell.
You know what it's time for, William? You know what it's time for? It's story time with Uncle Steve. All right. I'm going to tell you a story. 2017. Derrick Henry still with the Tennessee Titans. I had an Army friend at the time who was doing security for the Tennessee Titans, and I was actually in Kentucky visiting another Army friend, good friend of ours, and he hit us up, said, "Hey, if you guys can get to Nashville, I can get you some tickets to the game, some good tickets, and before the game, I can get you guys on the field. Okay, do a little look around." So, hey, all right, let's make the 3-4 hour trip from where we were in Kentucky. Let's go down to Nashville. Derrick Henry came out, William, and I'm telling you this. if you just look at him from the side and you have no idea who it is, you would think that's a defensive end. That's a linebacker. That's maybe a tight end, a left tackle. That guy's not a running back. He's every bit of 6'3", 6'4", 250. And last night on the and I'm telling you, I was probably, I don't know, 15 feet from him, like standing level, and I'm looking up at him. He's a big guy. I'm 6 foot. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I'm like, there's no chance I'm tackling that guy. If my life depended on it, it's business decision time. Absolutely. Like when I hear that term, I understand what they're talking about. On the broadcast last night, you probably didn't hear it, but they were talking about Derrick Henry, and they said that the Detroit Lions don't have a linebacker that measures up physically like Derrick Henry. I think it was Troy Aikman, if I'm not mistaken. And I said, I mean, I'm not saying Jack Campbell is going to win a lot of one-on-one matchups, but if he hits him at the right time, right space, and he fills a gap, I feel like we're going to have a good collision there. And Jack Campbell came out of that game looking like a hockey player, William, my type of guy. He had tape. I don't know if you could see it on his lip from getting his lip ripped off by his own face mask. He went to the sidelines and just goes, "Hey, throw some tape on it. I'll get this lip fixed up tomorrow." And then I think he had a great game, just not even in the run game. I thought he had some good tackles on Lamar Jackson too, if not tackling, pressuring him. He had that goal line early in the game where he forced the fumble and just drove Lamar back. Just athleticism, and it showed. I don't know that the game is fully slowed down for Jack Campbell yet, but it's like little glimpses here and there. It's like a glimpse, and then maybe he goes a little half a baby step backwards for a couple weeks, and then you get another glimpse. If it just all comes together for Jack, he could be one of the best linebackers in the NFL. It just hasn't yet, and it still can. I'm not giving up on him. He's still such a raw, and he's playing the most important position on defense. He's in charge of getting everyone in the right position, getting the play call. He's playing checkers and chess with these quarterbacks and doing matchups and taking care of everything. And then he's got to react to the play. So it's a lot on his plate, and he's getting thrown to the wolves. And I thought yesterday was one of his better games.
Yeah, it definitely was one of his better games, Steve. And I was actually going through some pictures on my phone from yesterday because I think I mentioned yesterday, I won't beat it up, but they let my son know the area where the players come out at, so where you could get some signatures and stuff. And Jack did. He came out and he had tape. It's like tape from here right up under his nose to going across his face. There's blood all over his face. It looked gruesome. And then I don't know if you heard Coach Campbell talking about it today, but he goes, the defensive players were just loving Jack Campbell, calling the defense, every word out of his mouth. Blood is just squirting out of his face. They said it just looked tough, man. And when he came off of the field, I was like, did he break his face or so? What is going on? Because it's white tape, and it was literally blood all across, dried blood all across the side of his face. It just looked like, it reminded me of gosh, what the heck is his name? Not Bill Romanowski, because Bill Romanowski was one, but it was Cushing, Brian Cushing, when he headbutted that dude and he broke his nose, and then it was like blood all over his face or whatever. Yeah, it just looked like tough, gritty, don't give a F about anything. Yes, yeah, yeah. It looked absolutely crazy, man. Crazy. And I guarantee you, he got into the locker room and got that thing freshened up, because that is not what it looked like when he walked off of the field. It looked crazy. I think I got some, but it looked crazy. I'll dig through, because I did a video. But yeah, it looked crazy when he left the field.
My last thing is, I just hope Jack Campbell doesn't have family pictures in the next 4 to 5 days. Might have to push those back. Those Christmas cards might be 4 or 5 days late. That's all I got to say. You got anything else for tonight, Will?
No, listen. And I'm kind of glad this was a good call by you, Steve. I'm still riding high on this victory. Thankful that the Detroit Lions are going into the season with this tough schedule, ahead of the sticks, so to speak, in 2-1. Got a tough game this week. But tomorrow, Steve, I'm putting my foot down. I want to talk about some grievances from this game. I want to talk about what's going to take us to the next level, what needs to happen, because I don't think we've seen the best Detroit Lions yet. I think it can be better. I think we can be better. And I think there's some key things that need to happen. And I know you got one on your mind that might. I think it's going to be 50-50. I think some people are going to be like, man, are you crazy? And then I think there's going to be the people that are like, absolutely agree. So I think Detroit Lions are going to be split on that one. And I got a couple too that I want to bring up, man. So guys, stick around for that one tomorrow. I think it'll be a good one.
It was going to happen tonight, but I was in a good mood. I'm still riding high. I didn't want to be negative yet, but tomorrow there's someone that's making me lose sleep. I'm literally losing sleep over it, Will. That's it. Some people know who it is. I think I've already seen some people comment on yesterday's show and said that they know who I'm talking about. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. Stick around.
Drop it in the comments.
We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.